Some stories don't like the public eye. They disappear. Being a little shy, they prefer a private cry. After all, most people listen with one ear. If you really want to know, you must persevere. Surely you don't want to be told a single lie. Some stories don't like the public eye. They disappear. Brace yourself. You might hate what you'll hear when you finally learn the reasons why. After all, most people listen with one ear. We all agree now the TRC was not a panacea, although we know it gave some stories a chance to fly. But some stories don't like the public eye. They disappear. Come now. Bring your cheer as well as your fear, even if somewhere along the journey you might want to cry, if you're unlike some people who listen with one ear. These poems are mere agents. Invite a peer or someone dear to this forum far removed from the openness of the sky, because some stories don't like the public eye. They disappear. In time, reappear, hoping they'll at least find even those who listen with one ear. Sanibonani ke. I want to start by thanking the CCA for inviting me again this year. I was invited for the first time in 2006. It's been 9 years, and it's been worth the wait. I love this festival. It feeds my soul. I was born in this province. I was raised in this province. I started working in this province, in particular in the Midlands. And one of the things that happened in this province, in the Midlands, when the rest of the country was excited about the Rainbow Nation and the Mandela Magic, was the violence. The media called it black on black violence, but of course we knew what was behind it. But people died. Thousands and thousands of people died. And what was very frustrating for people in this province is that the country was far too excited. So in a sense, it just left a lot of people not quite knowing what to do, and I was one of them. I only started writing these poems about 4 years ago, so that's my set for tonight, looking at that period. My childhood friend. My childhood friend, Nolwazi, died inside a car. Numerous bullets went through her body. It was alleged that she was killed by Duma, a man who was my classmate in Standard 6. Duma, my classmate in Standard 6, the story continues, shot my childhood friend Nolwazi after he shot her husband, Vusumuzi, who had been driving their car on their way home. Vusumuzi was my brother Malusi's mlabalaba buddy. My Standard 6 classmate Duma was not alone at the scene. He was with his Komtsotsi friend, a fellow soccer player, Nkosana, whose job was to organize other Komtsotsis in the community. Nkosana was my cousin Zazi's first boyfriend. Nkosana, I remember clearly, was once a very sweet boy with a black birthmark on his forehead. He was full of humor, loved by many in the community. He lived next door to my childhood friend, Nolwazi. My childhood friend, Nolwazi, and her husband, Vusumuzi, were with their 3-year-old daughter, Fikile. She, too, a potential witness, died after a shot in the head, fired, it is alleged, by Duma, the man who was my classmate in Standard 6. Look at me. Look at me, night walker, before the storm comes. I hear thunder, and from a distance I see lightning. The clouds are ready to deliver a storm that will render me unrecognizable. At least for now, I am a pile of ash in a specific location. I am still gatherable. At this time, 2 days ago, I was on my feet, surrounded by comrades, all of them shouting, calling me Impimbi, promising to show me who they really are. And when the tire landed around my neck, I felt the downpour of the petrol, heard the sound of the matchstick, and I died. And then I became the running dead. Look at me before the storm comes. Yesterday morning, I was a body, alone, black, but enduring. When my 3 comrades came to finish me off, they poured more petrol over me, sat around with rods, turning me over, making sure that I turned into ash. Today, as the sun was setting, my mother and her brother arrived. They both tripped over me as they searched in this vicinity of my necklacing. My mother's tears fell on me while her brother put his hand over her mouth to silence her. I said my final silent goodbye as they moved away, searching for a burnt corpse. I don't know who you are, night walker. I don't know what you're seeking in the dark, in this vicinity of my flaming evolution. Look at me while I'm still a dune of ash with evidence of family connection. Look at me as the wind blows and the outer parts of me instantly lift into the air. Now I can see the drops of the storm that's in a hurry to reduce me into a non-entity. Look at me, turn your head in my direction and watch the raindrops fall on me. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're looking for, night walker, but please just look at me. The 7-Day War. Now, this is not a creative title. This is what the media called it. If you Google it, that's what it will be called. A window of 7 days changed the Edendale Valley forever. Now, people call it the Valley of Widows. I wonder what opening just one window into the lives of these widows would reveal. Umamkize and I, we talked for the first time a week ago. Yesterday, we laughed together for the first time, even though we both had no luck. Funny how a thing like that can trigger laughter. This young man shouting profanities at his ancestors because he too had no luck. We all swim in the same sea in these queues, stand here with hope in our hearts and prayers on our lips. The workers at the government mortuary encourage us not to give up. Come tomorrow, they say. The dead bodies keep arriving. We return day after day, hoping and praying day after day. After the massacre, after the bodies had been identified, counted, and taken away, after the police had come and gone, the neighbors stuck around. 4 women walked the familiar path in a single file, paraffin lamps in their hands. The stars listened to their now hushed cries, watched them wipe away silent tears. Mechanically, they filled their water buckets from the homestead tank. Back in the house, with rags and soap from the cupboards, they started cleaning, sweeping shards of glass scattered everywhere, wiping splashes of blood on walls, windows, furniture, doors, sometimes even the ceiling. In the kitchen, they removed pieces of brain tissue splattered in all directions. When they went on their knees to clean the floors, cupping congealed blood in their hands, they told the girls to look away, instructed them to comfort younger children. In a bowl, they put cartridges and bullets that they found. In the bedrooms, they stripped the blood-stained bed covers and curtains, soaked everything in a large zinc for washing the next day. They went into every room, repositioning everything until the homestead looked almost exactly as it did before the massacre. By sunrise, the women had restored the homestead. But the bodies that were identified, counted, and taken away never left the huts and heads of the 4 women. About the ambulance. They had us all fooled about the ambulance. We never imagined, never suspected. We prayed for the injured. We wept for the dead, while they smiled in victory as the weapons left the village under the cover of the ambulance. Side by side. These are my children, the mother said, addressing the family gathered under a 25-year-old avocado tree. We shall bury them side by side on this family grave site. What the members of the self-protection unit and the self-defense unit say today, I just put aside. My sons died 6 months apart, but they will rest here, side by side, alongside their father who vowed all his life to never choose one over the other. It doesn't matter that my sons fought on 2 opposing sides. They are my children. Both came from my womb. This one. Digging for freedom. This boy says he and his friends refuse to work with us, even though they know that we can no longer cope with the digging day and night. He and his friends say we must also take a stand, refuse to dig graves for people who are dying all the time, because that way we too would make a statement about this unnecessary war of girls and women raped, of children dying in the crossfire while playing, of families fleeing homes, of brother against brother. This boy says no freedom can come from such bloodshed and mayhem. This boy doesn't know that we are women disguised as men. We started digging graves when men disappeared. He doesn't know that when we send him to sleep at sunset, we start another mission of hiding women and babies in these graves so that they can at least get some sleep, suckle their infants in peace. This boy doesn't know that to an army of women grave diggers, freedom is taking an energizing nap on the other side of the hill.
Wow.
Our wounds, our lips. They wanted us to listen and tell before our wounds healed, as if they didn't know that the thunder of pain is deafening. They didn't even notice that our lips were sealed. We need to move on, they said, and got laws repealed. They tried to make us believe that the truth was beckoning. We'd prefer waiting, we said, until our wounds have healed. One after the other, others' stories were revealed. In time, the processes and the performances started settling. By then, no one really cared that our lips were still sealed. Naughty stories were unpicked, their multiple layers unpeeled. Some truths were deadening. Others left the audiences trembling. We watched, firm in our resolve to speak after our wounds had healed. Audiences saw through some perpetrators telling and squealed. The performance had to go on. The world was watching and questioning. By then, no one really cared that our lips remained sealed. Years later, our wounds healed. The truth is our shield. We open up to be heard. For us, this act will be strengthening. After all, today many seem to agree that before our wounds healed, we could not have listened and talked. So here we are today, our lips no longer sealed. The last poem is called Some Stories, Part 2. Some stories will never be told. They disappear like feces into a pit toilet. They metamorphose into darkness. I'll start again. Some stories will never be told. They disappear like feces into a pit toilet. They metamorphose, turn darkness into a friend, wear anonymity like a cloak, embrace burial as closure. Thank you.